only man that's got the same move with every club. I'm the only golfer with the feeling of greatness. I'm the only golfer living that's got the master move and the feeling of greatness.
Hey, it's Todd Graves, and welcome to the Feeling of Greatness podcast. Today, I have a good friend of mine in the studio today, Scott Renfrow. Scott was actually on the first podcast in the show, so we are lucky to invite him back today. Reluctantly, we brought him back in, but there's some things that have been on my mind, and I think, and Scott's a perfect guy to have this discussion. But before I get into all this, a couple announcements that I'm pretty excited about. Number one is the Graves Golf Performance Center is rolling along. Where, it was funny because you go out there and you're watching the buildings being remodeled and you're watching new construction and the golf courses forming, and it's really cool and it's amazing and it's so fun to watch, and then it's just a freaking mess. And I was talking to our golf course designer, and I was talking to our building designer, and I'm like, he's like, Todd, you seem frustrated. And I said, I'm watching it get kind of built and then destroyed again and then built. And he, like, the road gets half done and then they move on to something else. He goes, Todd, you know how a sausage is made? You know how they make a sausage? Like, it was like it's a mess, and all of a sudden it comes out as a nice little sausage. He goes, right now, is this a sausage being made? I'm like, okay, I like the analogy.
The analogy works, yes.
Yes, it works. It works because it's cool, and I see all the progress, but it looks a mess out there. So the sausage of Graves Golf Performance Center is forming. That's good news. And the other thing that's great news is we hired Peter Raymont. I say we partnered with Peter Raymont with the Feeling of Greatness documentary, which has a lot to do with what we're discussing here. And that's very exciting because, as a quick side note, Scott, you've been around forever in the company, and you've seen us try to get this documentary thing done, and it's been a journey and a half. And then everybody gets busy and COVID happens, and so now I'm seeing it get done. And Peter Raymont hopped on board. He's a very decorated documentary producer out of Toronto, Canada. And he actually contacted us and was inquiring about helping us, and we just formed a partnership, and he's a great guy. He's got a great team. They're already on top of it. So we'll see a documentary here in the next year. Hopefully earlier than that, but I'm just going to say a year because we still got a ways to go. We got to edit it. We got to put music to it. We got to do some things. But if we this is the year, I think we're going to see the documentary. So very excited about that.
Finally.
I know. So that's on my side, that's the fun stuff going on. Today, Scott, I thought I would throw a subject out. You're heavily involved as a master coach with Graves Golf in talking to a lot of potential interested, I want to jump on board and learn the single plane swing.
Yes.
And I recently did a podcast with Coach Bill Hart called the All In Podcast. If you guys have a chance to go check it out, it was a fun show. But I got to thinking about this concept of being all in, and I want to pose this question, and we'll have a discussion about it. People ask this all the time. Well, how long is it going to take to get the single plane swing, right?
Right.
And I've never had a good answer for it. And I think I have a good answer for it now. We'll throw it out there in a minute. But here's what I do know. If you don't go all in, you won't get it.
True.
Yeah. So what does it mean? And what does it mean to go all in your opinion? What is all in? If somebody, to me, like I'm all in on, I won't do things unless I go all in. Mm-hmm. I actually measure things by how much I'm willing to go all in. Like trying stuff, not really interested. I only do stuff. I only invest my time and energy in stuff I go all in on. And then I go all in. Like I go all in, mm-hmm. Right? So to me, it's such an important part of success is going all in. And for us, the students we do see success with are the ones that have gone all in. We call them the 10%ers, right?
Right.
Or in the business world, the 80-20 rule. Like only 20% of people actually go all in. The other 80% kind of come and go.
Right. So
what does it mean to you, sitting in your seat as a master coach, dealing with people that you're trying to get to go all in, because that is something you're trying to get them to do, and you're trying to feel them out. What does it mean to you?
It's a good question, and it leads me to a conversation we were having maybe a week ago, to where you made the comment and it was me and a few other of the team members here, is that you can't motivate anyone. We don't have the ability to motivate anyone or provide someone with motivation. We have to find that ourselves individually. But, in this concept of going all in, and in my experience as a student first and then now as a coach forever, what I have found is golfers who come to the single plane swing and to Graves Golf who have the most success and develop a golf game that they would maybe never previously dreamed of, is there are two hurdles they have to cross in their own mind. We can't do it for them. We can provide them, we provide wonderful information, but there's two decisions they have to come to. And the first decision is about the swing itself, the single plane swing, the methodology, the mechanical side of that swing. They have to be able to say definitively for themselves, this is going to help me. They have to say, they have to make that decision.
They have to start with belief.
They have to believe, right? They have to believe that it's going to help.
It starts with a belief.
Right.
Okay.
It is a belief. It's, they have to believe this is going to help me get what I want, which is to hit the ball more consistently, straighter, longer, shoot lower scores, and ultimately enjoy playing the game.
Let's come back to belief, because I want to come back to that, but I want to ask you a quick question. So here's the honest opinion about motivation for me. Mm-hmm. I believe people are motivated by two things.
Yep.
Desperation or inspiration, right? So, I have no control over either one of those. I'm just saying that that's where people get motivated. I have to be honest. When I met Mo, I was desperate. I got motivated from desperation. So I'm not saying desperation is a bad place to be as far as a motivational tool, but then I got inspired by Mo. So I was desperate, and then Mo inspired me because I believed in it.
Correct.
So here's the thing. I don't think I've had a hard time thinking about this, but being inspired by something isn't how I normally start my motivations. It usually
starts from desperation.
I usually hit a rock bottom,
right,
and then find something that helps me come out of the bottom, right?
Yeah,
then I get inspired.
Right.
So rock bottom is actually a decent place to be sometimes, because it makes you reassess. Man, I gotta make this. I gotta figure something out here. Yeah. That's where
something
I was.
has to change.
That's where I was. That's why I can. And you were too.
Exactly the same. Boat.
You were too.
It's absolute desperation. And in talking to our customers, talking to these golfers that I talk to on a daily basis, there is a lot of desperation. They're desperate. So my question to you is, aren't they all? Yeah.
Nobody comes to us, man, I'm a great golfer, but I'm certainly inspired by Mo. Let's change my swing. No one does that.
Nobody does that.
No. I think I've had it maybe once or twice. They're like, this is a better way. But it really, 99% of the time, it's a desperation reach out to us. Like, I'm going to quit the game, or I'm so frustrated, or I just can't figure this out. But then the light goes on. And so we have to turn the light on for people. And that's what you and I spend our time doing, is like, how do I get you to understand that, number one, like, I can't make you believe in anything. I only put information in front of you.
Right.
You either believe it or not, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's where you sit most of the time. You sit in that world of, I'm not going to say convincing, because I'll tell you what, right now, I never convince anybody of anything. I just put the information out there and say, look at this. Does this make sense? That's what you do, right? Does it make sense that you have a model? Does it make sense that the model is a biomechanical model? That you start where you impact? All these things are common sense things, and producing a light bulb goes off. The guy goes, man, that makes so much sense. Then you got them, because then they're inspired by, man, I believe in this thing.
Well, and that's, you talk about your journey, desperate. You're in your own golf game, absolute desperation. And then you see the video of Mo that Matt Lane gave you, and it's like there's a light bulb goes off in your head, and then you go meet the man. You drive to Chicago to meet the man, and it's
all in.
And now I am 100% in, because you made the decision. This is my answer.
Yeah.
This is going to get me what I want. So you crossed the first barrier yourself.
Yeah.
Mo didn't convince you. Matthew didn't convince you. Even watching the tape with the guys that you were playing against, out standing around watching Mo, that didn't convince you. It was all, you saw the solution. This in my logical mind makes too much sense for me not to pursue this, and I'm going to go for it. Well, then you meet Mo, and I mean, I never had the opportunity to meet Mo in person, but it's hard not to be inspired by not just the golfer, but the human being.
Yeah.
You know, and well, like you were with your announcements earlier, we're finally going to get the documentary done in the next year, and that's going to be, the world needs to know that, man.
Yeah.
As a man, not a golfer.
Yeah. I don't think Mo inspired me. I don't think watching Mo inspired me, because I was inspired by the frustration I'd had so much with the conventional methodology of working with all the people that I worked with and trying to figure it out from that conventional standpoint, and seeing the solution in Mo's swing. I mean, Mo's solution inspired me. Mo figured it out. Like, I looked at Mo and like, he figured this out.
Right.
Now, he didn't really know how he figured it out, and he didn't really, he knew that he had figured it out. Like, he knew how good he was, and
right.
he knew how simple it was, and all those things. That's what inspired me. Is like, part of me that was inspired is like that he didn't know, because it wasn't like, hey, I sat down and I did the geometry and this was it. He's like, it's so damn simple. Like, why? It's kind of like, why doesn't everybody do it this way? Right. And so that's what inspired me, is like, holy shit, it's easier than I thought it should be.
Well, and that's, when I have conversations with the golfers, it's like, they ask me, can I do this on my own? Yeah. You can just follow Mo's path.
Yeah.
800 balls a day for 5 years. Go get her.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems kind of a flippant answer, but that's all Mo did. And the interesting thing is, he was not bound by, there were no rules for Mo.
Yeah.
There were no rules. His only rule was, this is the outcome I want. So, conversation I was having this week with a customer is that, golfers today that, we watch TV golf and that's how we think it's supposed to be done. Mo didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So right out of the box, when we take up this game, we're put inside this box of, this is the way it should be done, because this is what the guys who are making the money doing it, this is how you should do it.
Yeah.
Mo didn't think that way.
Yeah.
So, he didn't have any preconceived notions about what it should be. It's, we'll make the golf ball go where I want it to go.
Yeah.
But, but back on topic about, being all in, once you cross the barrier of you're inspired, by the swing. And I think in reality, most golfers are inspired by seeing little bits of success, which is very, very common.
Well, part of being all in, there's two things about being all in for me. One is that I am inspired by the bigger picture of what I see my result going to be, the outcome of, man, I'm going to be able to hit a golf ball great and whatever. But the other side of it is, you got to burn all the boats behind you.
That's one comment I wanted to make. Yeah, you got to burn the boats.
You got to burn the boats. Like
yeah.
you got to basically say, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
That is an all-in attitude. Like, if you have one foot kind of over there going, well, if this doesn't work out for me, I'm going to kind of go over there. Success never really finds you, because what happens is there's going to be a point where you struggle when you learn the swing. No one gets it in one day, right?
No.
So if you ever have that out, like, well, if it doesn't work out for me, I'm going to go back to my old swing. You never fully commit to working through the issues you need to work through, that everybody's got to work through to get the result you want. And so that's what I see, is people kind of stay on the fence.
Yeah.
And so they don't ever go all in. The 10% that do, man, they go all in. They're like, all right, I want to learn this. I'm going to train this. I'm going to work hard at it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to send videos to the coaches. I'm going to work with the coaches. And then they develop themselves. So my question, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to give you my answer here in a second. A student asks you this, and you get asked this all the time, by the way. I'm just asking you what we generally get asked. Scott, how long is it going to take me to learn this? If I go all in, how long is it going to take?
My answer to that is, it's not a get it. It's not a matter of getting it. It's a matter of always progressing, And so what I tell that customer, because I do get that question quite regularly, is, when you follow our process for teaching, working in the correct order, so that always starts with address grip. Just getting the address and grip correct, you're going to hit more good shots. It was my own experience. I've seen it thousands of times in my career here. Just getting the address and grip correct, you hit more good shots. And then you start, and then that's correct because you're able to verify that's correct. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my backswing, and my backswing is getting to the swing. I'm getting the swing on plane now. Well, you're hitting even more good shots. And then you start to get that downswing moving a little bit correctly. You're hitting a lot of good shots, and you never really realized you're there, but it's always been this progression. And then you start getting picky. So you start getting real picky.
So you're kind of answering it the same way I'm going to answer it, but let me answer it the way that I'm going to answer it from now on. So the guy comes up to me and says, Todd, okay, I really like the single plane swing concept. How long is it going to take to get it? I'm going to say, okay, here's the deal. We have a model. We have a perfect order that you learned it in. Mm-hmm. It's a process. Mm-hmm. And then there's some measuring and things you need to do after this process to make sure you're getting it, right? So you tell me how long it's going to take.
Yeah, because
so you tell me.
Yeah.
Because it comes up to it's up to you. Are you going to match the model? Are you going to do the process? And are you going to measure it? So it's up to you. Here's what I can do for you. I can show you the model. I can show you how to practice it in the order. I can teach you exactly everything you need to know to do this. But it's up to you. So my question. So when somebody asks me that, I'm going to say, you tell me. Because I'm going to do my job, and you're going to do your job, right?
Right.
I'm not swinging. I can't swing the club for you. I can't get you out of bed in the morning. I can't get you to match the model. See again, the motivation thing comes in here. But so it's like, hey, you got to tell me if you're all in, because if you're all in, you'll be matching the model, you'll be doing the proper order, you'll be working with the coaches, and you'll be measuring. So to me, the question is, you tell me.
Well, and
that's the answer.
That question, when they ask that question, how long is it going to get? And I mean, if I'm just being frank about the answer, is, I'd be like, how soon can you let go of? How soon can you let go?
Yeah, are you all in?
Yeah, are you all in?
Are you all in?
Because the difference between our golfers that come in here and do go all in and do get it is they stop focusing on what the golf ball does and start focusing on what they're doing.
Are you all in?
Yeah.
Are you all in?
Are you on a match?
Are you all in? Because it comes down, and that's why I think this is a great topic.
Well, I mean, it's, when I started this with you a couple decades ago, and we'll just leave it at that. I had a terrible, terrible slice of the golf ball. And I tell this story to my customers often. I sliced the golf ball terrible. I mean, it was embarrassing. And I'm coming to you, I'm working on the instruction, and all in my mind as a recreational golfer, all I ever wanted to do was fix the slice and just hit the ball straight. And I guess one day I was whining and bitching about it. And, we were working up at the academy and I'm whining about slicing it. And you finally stopped me and said, okay, dumbass, stop. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're close friends now. But he said, you told me, and I won't ever forget it. You said, stop trying to fix your slice.
Yeah.
Work on matching mo.
Yeah.
Make that your goal.
Yeah. I used to say all the time, there's one solution to every swing problem.
Right.
Match the model.
Match the model. And from that moment forward, I stopped worrying about slice and just worked on matching the model.
Yeah, because
the slice went away because I'm matching the model.
I can stop your slice. I'll just close the face. I can stop the slice.
And see, that's a problem most golfers.
But that's not the right answer.
It's not the right answer.
So I'm going to give you the right answer, and you've got to go all in and just keep working towards the right answer.
Yeah.
But I can stop anything. I don't want to cause another problem. So, look, a doctor can give you a drug
and
make you feel better.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But you really, what you need to do is you need to go eat better, right?
Right.
So the thing is like finding the right answer and then going all in on that answer is the right answer.
Yeah.
And for us, here's what we struggle with. And I love these conversations because if people are listening to this podcast, we're behind the scenes talking about this stuff. And I like talking behind the scenes because what they don't understand is that there's how many employees do we have in the office now? 14, 15, 16. I see new people every day. So I come in here and we're all in on helping people
all day.
Right. But then the guys, I'll give you a quick example. This morning, I was laughing this morning. And if somebody's out there, don't take offense to this. But David goes, Todd, what's the weight of the putter head? And I'm like,
huh?
And I'm like, I mean, the engineers designed the putter head. I mean, I had the best engineers in golf design this putter, right? I'm not an engineer, right? I concept it out and they design it, right? I wanted a putter that rolled the ball fucking great, right? That's what I wanted. I want a great, in the way the putter's designed it, And they go, what's a putter weight? I'm like, what does it matter?
Yeah,
it rolls the ball, right? Yeah. So we went and weighed it and whatever. And I'm like, None of that matters. Here's my question for you. When the guy asks, "Was the putter way?" Is he really saying, "I don't trust this putter"? I mean, seriously, what's the question for? Look, the putter rolls the ball. Great. It doesn't matter because what's he comparing it to? Another putter head that weighs 400 grams.
Right. I mean,
so it's like
the old bullseye putter. What did that weigh?
It's effing irrelevant.
Yeah, it's absolutely irrelevant.
Do you trust the putter or not?
Yeah.
Like, then just go for it. Go all in.
Go all in on it.
It's right. Go all in and make the putter work. It's kind of like, oh, the putter's not heavy enough. I need to put some weight on there. Why? What are you talking about?
Swing it harder.
Yeah. It's like, so I just find this interesting that the guys there's such a lack of trust and stuff. Totally get it. I mean, I understand that we have these issues because there's a lot of charlatans out there trying to sell us stuff. True. Or whatever.
Well, but unfortunately, that's kind of the golf instruction industry. It is. It's just shitty. I mean, it's just shitty.
It is. But hey, keep in mind, we've been in business for 23 years, and
and because we're not shitty.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, they make a run and they go away.
Yeah. The other thing I'll mention here, and I'm not going to mention names of competitors that we deal with in the industry, and this is fun stuff to talk about though, is answer this question when you look at somebody that's a competitor of ours. Have they been all in? Let's put it out there, because here's the thing about it. These guys will jump from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing just because they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to get you to do business with them. They'll come up with another name for their product.
Right.
They will, and I never do this. I never ever diminish somebody else's instruction. Like, I won't go after what they teach. Right. I just never do it. I don't find it helpful. I don't find it useful, but they will beat up what we teach because they want to make themselves look better. So keep that in mind when you're looking. Ask the question of whoever, not just us, but whoever you're going to do business with, whoever you're going to marry,
right?
Whoever you're going to have a relationship with, whoever you're going to have a business partnership with. Are you going to go all in? And recently, I had a business conversation with our golf course architect, and here's some business stuff we're working on together, and he says, he goes, "Why don't you just hire me as an employee?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Because that doesn't mean you're all in." I go, "Dude, get skin in the game. I want skin in the game. You show me the skin you put in the game, and you show me you're all in, where if this thing doesn't do well, you suffer." Like, when you're all in, you're basically saying both sides of it. I burn my boats, man. If it doesn't work out, I sink, right? And if it work, I'm going to make sure it works,
right?
Like, I'm going to make sure that.
Yeah. In order to prevent that, I'm going to do everything I can to keep it from sinking.
Yeah, right. You're gonna get through this frustration because nothing's easy, right?
Oh, nothing.
And so to me, I want partners they're like, man, I'm willing to take a risk with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and from the golfers that come to us, I think they're desperate. They're desperate to find an answer. And the problem with the golf instruction stuff that floats around out there on social media and things like that is it's like the flavor of the moment. And I talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago. He ended up getting into our elite coaching because when he found us, he's like, "Holy shit, this is the only thing I've been looking for."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Just sign me up and tell me exactly what to do." And so we're having this, I think we had a 2-hour long conversation. And I was kind of, he'd mentioned, "I've bought every gadget out there." I'm like, "How much have you spent on buying gadgets to fix your golf swing in the course of your life?" And he said, "That's not a fair question."
Yeah.
He said, "I don't want to answer that question." I'm like, "Come on, man, let's just guess." He said, "It's probably around $20,000 in the course of my life."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, dude, that's the trap that we're all in." Because, the comment you made a minute ago, and I think it's when we talk about quote unquote competitors, I don't think we have competitors out there. There are companies that market products, and then there's us. We teach exactly the same thing that we started teaching 23, 5, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
Yeah.
Now, we've learned to say it in different ways.
I'm a one-trick pony.
Yeah. Well,
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty good at communicating it, and I've found multiple ways of communicating it, which I love to do, by the way. It's creatively communicating and inspiring people, because you mentioned a second ago, you said it. people come to us desperate, 100%, right?
Yeah.
So that motivation, we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
Right. The only motivation we worry about is inspiration.
Right.
So we're just here to inspire. And if you go all in with what we're inspiring you with, you'll win. You'll win the thing. So to me, our job is 100% to inspire.
Yes.
Like that's where we spend our time. You get on the phone with somebody and you're talking about it, you're inspiring them. Guys, here's your bigger future here. If you go all in, right? That's what I do. When I teach, I don't try to convince anyone anything. I just try to inspire them. Say, guys, here's what you do. Here, just work on this, do this, take these next steps. Call it whatever you want. You know, I'm teaching them how I can inspire them and what they need to be doing to get, if they're all in, right? Never do I quick fix anybody. Never. That's why I'm not a drill guy. Like, I don't love drills. You know, my drills are always full motion drills. Right. You know, they're always like, my drill is to swing the club. You know,
yeah. Here's your drill, swing the club.
It's like impact drill. Go from
position 0 to position 6,
the top to the finish.
Yeah.
Impact drill.
Oh yeah, impact's in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, you do this correctly, impact will be great.
Right. Know? It's you know, we talk about a customer or a golfer making that decision, you know, and then going all in. The client, our demographic, the demographic that has gravitated towards us, you know, in the history of the company, it makes me feel bad because the world's got them so beat down thinking they can't make a change. You know, it's like they've played golf. You know, these guys are in their 60s, 70s, some of them even they're 80. Or, you know, they're 80-year-olds, and it's like they've played this game most of their life, and they've always been about a bogey golfer or this or that. And it's like, so I have conversations, you know, if what would the game of your dreams be like? You know,
yeah, inspire.
You know, let's think big, and they're like, okay, I'm shooting in the 90s, around 100 right now, and I want to just shoot in the high 80s. I'm like, dude, that's not big enough. Mm-hmm. That's not big enough. That's easy. I can fix that in 6 months. This company will fix it in 6 months. You got to dream bigger, because, and then the other side of it too is, you know, these you know, guys are like, well, I'm not trying to get on the tour.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to get on the tour. You know, I just want to hit the ball a little better. I'm like, same process.
Yeah.
It's the same process.
It doesn't change what we do.
It doesn't change what we do. And it's the guy who wants to go play competitively and win his club championship has to do the exact same thing the guy that wants us to break 90 and break 80.
Here's the difference. Because Roberto Rubija, right?
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned this in a podcast, but it reminded me of what he said to me. So I remember, and I think was talking about this in the podcast. I was like, sometimes I get afraid when I teach. Like I'm afraid to go too far because I don't want to, like, it's not that I over teach something, but it's kind of like, I'm going to lose this guy. It's going to go from inspiration to, oh shit, this is hard, you know?
Yeah.
So I was working with Roberto and I'm like, you know, I was going to give him something difficult to work on because I needed to fix his lead hand or whatever it was. I said, okay, Roberto, I'm going to teach you something here, but you're going to struggle with it for a period of time. And he looked at me and goes, you know who you're talking to, don't you? Right. And I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
And here's what he meant by this is like, I'll do whatever you say and I'll work. I'm all in, buddy. And I will make it work.
Yes.
And I was like, shit, I love this. Yeah. Like I love instruction like that. Right. I mean, I could say that, like, I watched Roberto hit a zillion golf balls and I could watch it all day long. Look, he'll snap hook it. He'll dead right. You know, he'll be struggling with something and we'll just keep working. He'll keep working through it. Like, he doesn't turn to me and go, what happened there? What happened on that one? Why is that going left? I mean, he never did that. Ever. Right. He would say, I got it. I'm getting it. Okay. I'm checking it. How's that look? Okay. Is that right? Look at this for a second. What do you think? Yep. Looks good. Okay. And he was in it with me. Right. He wasn't looking at me going, well, what's going on here? Why isn't it going perfect yet? Never. And there's such a, to me as a coach and somebody that's really trying to help somebody, there's such a team effort there as opposed to I'm looking at you for my answer. You got to solve my problem, right? We're in a team. We're working together. And sometimes it's like, look, sometimes golf is an experiment. Let me see if you can even do this, right? Yeah. For example, I'm going to move your hand strong for a second. I just want to see what the fuck happens, right? it's not right, but I want to see what the fuck happens because I need as a coach to see you figure this out. Like you know, so it's a work in progress, which is why hands-on instruction is so fun and so valuable sometimes. But that's when you're in that all in, when you're in the all in, you're willing to do all of that to get to that outcome. It's an experiment. It's a creation. You're creating. You're trying. You're working towards it. You're measuring. You're matching the model. It's that process, and you get there. You know.
Yeah.
But you have to start with all in. I never once thought Roberto wasn't going to be all in. You know, ever once. Yeah. And so it just makes it so easy on a coach. The difficulty when you coach is when you get that gut instinct he's not all in. And I do it all the time, and I fucking hate it. Like, I was teaching at the club the other day, and members ask me to teach them all the time. And if any of the national members listen to me, I'm sorry, but I fucking hate it. And here's why: because they're never all in.
They're not.
They've been conditioned. They've been conditioned by the 94 other pros that came through that shop.
Yeah.
That gave them a quick tip lesson that was going to fix whatever they had. And these guys need over fucking hauls, right? And they look at me and they're like, Todd, I've watched all your stuff online, and I know you're an amazing coach, and you've got this amazing network of people you teach, and can you help me? I'm like, and I should just fucking say no.
Yeah.
I should, Scott.
Yeah.
But I want to help so badly. I say yes. Then I go down there and I teach them, and I fucking say, why'd I do this? I do it every time.
Well, and it really is the difference as a coach. I mean, is coaching someone who is all in, or coaching someone who is dipping a toe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm going to give this a shot, see if it might work. And to those people, I'm like, don't try it. Just don't try it.
So,
because it works.
When I was a rookie,
when you get it right, it works. It fucking works.
I know, but when I was a rookie golf teacher, back when I was still playing, right? Chuck Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Chuck Hogan, if you don't know Chuck passed away a few years ago, but Chuck was a well-renowned golf instructor, but he was more, I would say, on the psychological side of instruction.
Right.
Like if you look at his materials and stuff, so I'm having dinner with Chuck, and we're talking about teaching, right? And I wouldn't call myself a teacher like I am today. I was like a teacher, but I wasn't fully invested. I was still playing some, but still coaching a little bit. And Chuck said, he goes, Todd, he goes, here's the thing. He goes, what I do with students when I go to teach them is I take them to breakfast first, and I have a conversation with them, and I talk to them so I can get to know their motivations and get to hear them talk about their aspirations and what they want to do, and we talk, and I get to know them psychologically before I teach them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. What do you do after that? And he goes, lunch. And it's fucking hilarious because here's what he's saying. It's like until you get them all in,
right? You
got no effing chance out there.
You got no chance.
You got no chance,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to get them all in. And he didn't say it that way, but that's what I got from that.
Well, it is, it's so true though.
So true.
It's so freaking true because, you know, I'm so far removed from being the recreational golfer that watches the Golf Channel and has all the subscriptions to the golf magazines and scans all the websites. I mean, I don't look at any of that shit anymore. I'm so far removed from that, but it's, you know, that's what it's like. The guys who come to us, like they see an ad or they see a YouTube video, you know, one of the YouTube videos, and they're like, well, that's interesting. Let me check this out a little more. It's, you know, if it were poker, they're making that, you know, it's a minimum bet. They're just trying to see the next card. You know, I just want to see the next card.
They're looking for inspiration.
Yeah, they're looking for inspiration because they're not yet convinced. And that's what I was saying earlier is that's the first hurdle that a golfer has to cross is saying that this is what I've been fucking looking for. This is going to solve my problem.
But you know this as much as I do. What's the other side of inspiration? And you say it all the time. What inspires you?
I don't.
Hope.
Oh, yeah, it's hope.
Hope.
It's hope. Yes.
So if something gives you hope, you get inspired because like, oh, that's it. That gives me hope, right?
Right.
That might be the mother of inspiration.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is getting people inspired by giving them hope.
It is. Yeah.
That's
I say that all the time. I mean, you
say it all the time.
What we do here is sell hope, you know, to any golfer out there. I mean, and it's. I don't care if you're shooting 125 or you just picked up golf clubs or you're playing on the Mexican PGA.
Well, I would disagree with that. I would disagree with that. I don't think we sell hope. We sell the answer. We
Right.
sell the result. We sell the answer. What we inspire them is with hope.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because
Okay, I agree with that.
if they don't have inspiration, they're not going to go. They're not going to approach us for the answer. So like I'm not going to go talk to you if I don't think you have the answer for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's like
Right.
I'm going to go talk to somebody that I think has the answer.
Right.
But you talk about that a lot, is how important it is to give people hope. But that's what gets them inspired to then take it on,
Right.
and go all in.
Right.
You know, which kind of is a circular thing, because I mean the desperation's already there.
Yeah, I mean it's the desperation's there, no question. I mean, because these conversations I have with our golfers, I mean, I understand it, but it baffles me at the same time. Is like, okay, you've been playing for 50 years, and you've been trying to solve the same exact problem for 50 years, and you're still playing. I mean, are we crazy? I think, are we crazy? But it's I think it's deeper than that. We're not crazy. I mean,
Dude,
it's what we enjoy. It's how we like.
Dude, you talk about solving problems 50 years. I used to go to the PJ teaching conference and sit there and listen to the instructors trying to say the same problem. The instructors are trying to solve the same problems for 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, the instructors haven't solved it.
Right.
So they're not going to help you solve it. And like I used to sit there and go, really? Are we really having these same conversations? You guys don't have an answer for this shit yet? You know?
Yeah.
This was the best teachers in the world, by the way.
Right.
Top 100.
The top 100 dinner.
Yeah.
I remember that you going to those.
And I'd be like, these guys they're great instructors, but they are still don't have the answer, right? And that's why I think, I mean, we 100% have the answer.
Absolutely.
So the other day, who was I talking to? Somebody said to me, I did a presentation at the university here. And one of the kids, there was, I don't know, probably 10 kids in the room. And one of the kids says, well, the same question we get asked is, well, if this is so good, why isn't there a bunch of tour players doing it? I'm like, I have no interest in tour players, right? I have no interest. I mean, you can look at Bryson DeChambeau. He's got some of the traits. You can look at Steve Stricker. There's a lot of guys out there that I would say really pretty close to what we would teach. But at the end of the day, I'm after the guy who is desperate and frustrated, who wants a simple, easy way. And that's who I'm after. That's the guy I want to help the most. Number one, there's more of them.
Yeah.
And number two is I'm just not interested in tour players. I just don't really care. It's not who I am. It's not what I care about. Me having an ego that wants to hang my hat on some guy that wins a PGA tournament, don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I would rather lay in my deathbed and say, man, I helped a million struggling golfers that were looking for a great recreation for their life, to have fun playing the game. I will sleep well, right? Mm-hmm. So that's my motivation, right? That's my inspiration. But it's just interesting that everybody's like, what it comes down to is stepping outside of conventional thinking, right? I was laying out the other day. I was had a whiteboard and I was laying out logic, right? I was laying out some logic. I love to lay out logic, and so imagine me having a whiteboard and I'm sitting here saying, okay, we want to make you a better golfer, okay? So we can keep doing what we're currently doing. Well, we know that's not going to work.
Right.
Okay, cross that off, right? So I was on my whiteboard. Keep doing the same thing. Okay. So that if I'm going to help you, we've got to change something.
We got to do something different. Right?
We got to do something different. Okay. So put different on the board. Mm-hmm. Different. All right. Equals change. All right. Great. So now it comes down to, what different are you going to do?
Right.
Right. So now is it like, that's where we come in and say, single plane is different than anything out there. Right. But it's based on science. Now, the question that you are answering with is, now let's give you a process. You've never done that before either, right?
Right.
So we're going to change everything you know about how you learn, how you swing, and how you learn to swing. And that is going to be the answer for you. And it's completely different than anything you've ever seen.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like we have to become more like Mo as golfers, to make a change. It's what I was talking about earlier. Mo did not have any beliefs or ideas about how to do golf. right? And I think the issue, we've been boxed our entire lives. This is how you do golf. But that has never provided us with a solution. So it's like we got to unshackle ourselves like Mo did. Today, I think we could all agree, knowing Mo the man would probably have been diagnosed with autism, some level of autism. And I was having a Zoom conversation with one of our lady customers, and she brought this up, and she's like, and it caught me off guard, which is hard to do anymore. She said, Mo's autism was a gift. And it's the gift that gave us what we're doing now.
100%.
He said because he didn't have chains, he didn't have one toe in or one toe out. Yeah. He was all in on what he was trying to accomplish, and he gave the rest of us a gift.
Yeah. No question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it. That's the way I always felt about it.
Yeah, it's like, because Mo was all in, when we can go all in like that and just throw the shackles off of what we've been told our entire lives, the whole world opens up. The whole world opens up for us in golf. The whole, it's a whole different world.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is intuition. Like if I had to nail down what Mo's superpower was, like what was his superpower, and maybe it was relative to his diagnosis if he ever was autistic, it was that he was highly intuitive. Mm-hmm. And so I think we block intuition. I think what makes sense to us gets skewed by the common, shitty thinking.
Right.
And so we start going, well, that makes more sense, but everybody does it that way. So that must be right.
Everybody's walking off the cliff, so I guess I should too.
Yeah, I'll just follow the path when it's like, okay, wait, let me rethink this. That doesn't make any sense. And so I think Mo had the gift of intuition. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think that's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways in our society, right? But on the same sense, like, dude, one time I went to meet Mo to hit balls with him, and he was frustrated. What, Mo? What's the matter? He goes, "I got a speeding ticket for going too slow." I'm like, "What happened?" He goes, "You can't even drive too slow these days. What's the world coming to? Can't even drive too slow. Just mind my own business." He was driving down the road because Mo would go drive and he had nothing else to do. He'd just go drive, right? He goes, "I'm driving 35 and a 55. I'm like, "Well, Mo, it's a 2-lane road, probably. You're holding a bunch of traffic and people are trying to go around you. It's a dangerous thing, He's like, "Can't even drive too slow. What's the world coming to?" He's all pissed off. But it's true. He just did his own thing, Yeah. And I love that. I mean, that's what I loved about him. And that's what I love about people. Like when people do their thing, do your thing, you know?
Yeah.
And if your buddies are making fun. So quick story about Matt Hulse. So Matt came and got a putter from me, this last week. Mm-hmm. He takes it out and plays with it, and he's just playing great with the putter, right? And all his buddies he plays with, because he plays with his group of buddies, and they all compete against each other all the time. He's into it, All his buddies are like, "Fuck that guy in Oklahoma that gave you this putter. Fuck that guy." They're cursing me, and I'm like, I live for this.
That's exactly
I
what
live for this.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, that's what I live for. I live for just going against the grain because it's the right thing,
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, the stories can go on and on. I mean, when I first started working with you, all those years ago, my playing partners, they rode me like a fucking mule, man.
Yeah.
They're like, "What are you doing? You look like an idiot. You're a moron. God, you look stupid."
Yeah.
And they did that until I started kicking their ass.
Of course.
And then they're like, "Well, tell me a little bit more about this whole single plane swing thing." I'm like, "Screw you guys."
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
then they wouldn't play with me anymore because they then couldn't compete with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way it should work.
Exactly.
I love it.
I mean, so.
Well, Scott, I know you got to get to some calls. I got to get into another meeting. I got to head to a lunch meeting, but thanks for joining me today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All in. You got to go all in.
Behave.
You were great today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We'll cut out the stuff that we didn't like.
All right.
But no, thanks for joining us on the Feeling Greatness podcast. And listen, go all in, guys. It's really a thing of you if you're on the fence or if you're thinking about stuff, overthinking it. Don't overthink it. Really, don't overthink it. Don't weigh the putter. It works, right? I mean, I'm just saying. It's like we've done the hard work, just like Mo did the hard work for us.
The hard work for us.
That's why I looked at Mo. I kind of looked at Mo as look, he did all the hard work. He figured this out. Thank you, Mo. I'm going to run with it, right?
Yes.
Go all in. So anyway, that's the Feeling Greatest podcast. Thanks for joining me, Scott, and go all in, and we'll see you in the next show.